Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick with Let's Get Chalked Up. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to get paint off of your hardware if you're painting furniture and you bought it from Marketplace or you got it from a resale shop. A lot of times there'll be paint on the hardware and you're going to want to get that off before you repaint it. Can't say all the time because chalk paint does cover up a lot of that stuff, but if there's layers and layers on there, you might want to get it off because you don't want it to continue just to layer up because it's not going to show the detail and it'll just look nicer if you get it off. So at the end of the video, if you like it, go ahead and like, comment, and share. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. The first thing I did was I got a pot that I wasn't going to use again for cooking. You want to make sure that you designate whatever pot that you're going to use for this project to your I'm going to clean my hardware pot, because if not, then the paint that comes off of the hardware could potentially have lead in it, and then if you go to use this to cook again, you could potentially get lead in your food, and you do not want that. So just find an old pot, or like I said, designate one to clean your hardware in. You could also use a crock pot, turn it on high, get the water really hot. I would put a liner in it though, so that way you can just throw the liner away. I don't know if that actually works, but it seems like it would, so that could be another option for you. But what I did was I took an old pot, I filled it up about halfway with water, I brought it to a boil, and then I sprinkled in some baking soda. Now there are some people out there that say that they don't use baking soda, it does the same thing. I just like to use baking soda because it's a organic, natural cleaning agent. So I just dump it in a lot of the stuff that I'm cleaning. But be careful if you're going to dump it in, because if you have boiling water and you dump in baking soda, if you dump in too much, your water could overflow. Trust me, I've done it. It's not fun. So just be careful of that. After I dumped it in, I let it just kind of boil for maybe a minute, and then I took my hardware and I threw it in the pot. I turned the dial down to like medium low or so, just where it was a simmer, and then I let the hardware simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, I'd say. You know, you'll come back and you'll look and you'll see, you can see that there's all the paint from the hardware all over the sides of this. So there's that. This has been sitting, that's the time I can touch this. It's not that hot. I've actually cleaned a couple of other ones already and decided I should get on here and show you guys this cool trick, because I mean, it's super simple, no harsh chemicals, and it literally takes, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes of your day. So after you let it boil for about 15-20 minutes, go ahead and take it off the stove. Grab yourself an old toothbrush, because you're going to need it to help scrub some of the bits off. And I also use toothpicks to get into the crevices where my toothbrush can't reach. So when I started this project, this hardware was like a super ugly gold. You can see, like, ooh, definitely wasn't going to use that on the project that I'm doing. So I wanted to make sure I got it off. And also the furniture that I had to sand down, they used latex paint on it, so I wasn't really quite sure exactly what kind of paint was on the hardware, but I was assuming it was the same, so definitely wanted to get it off. When you take it out, maybe some tongs, the water's not hot anymore, but you can see that most of the gold has already boiled off on both sides. So you just have to take it out and go ahead and use your toothbrush, just start scrubbing it down and get all the little bits and pieces off of there, like this. And I mean, this is such an easy thing to do. The paint just falls right off. It's actually kind of crazy how easy this is. I just love it because I don't have to do a paint stripper, because seriously, hate it. And because, as we all know, I'm super impatient, and this is actually really super fast. So I just take this, scrub it all over, try to get into the crevices the best I can. If the water is not too hot, you can go ahead and dip it back in there, rinse it off. And then if there's any other pieces, like inside these little crevices, as you can see, I just take this and run over it, and it literally just flakes right off. Pretty simple. Doesn't get much easier than that, you guys. Does not get easier than that. And then once I'm all done with doing this, I'm gonna let them dry, and then I'm gonna go ahead and prime them on both sides with a spray primer, and then I'm going to use, for these ones, I'm gonna use a black spray paint. Put a couple of coats of that on there, let it dry for as long as the back of the can says, and then I'm going to spray some protective clear coat over it just so that they don't end up chipping later on down the road. You can also, I mean, I'm going to spray paint them just because that's the look that I'm going for this project. However, you can chalk paint these too. Like I said, you can chalk paint them, and then you can go right over them with your wax, or you can even use the gilding wax or the Dixie Belle, I think it's mousse that they just came out with. I heard that's really cool. I have some on the way. I don't have any to use right now, but I heard that that's really nice to use. So you don't have to do this, but if you ever wanted to do this and you needed to get the paint off of your hardware, then this is absolutely the best way to do it. So, and then when you're all done, they are going to look beautiful. Just like this. Nearmer gold. Oh, it's kind of shiny gold, but I promise it's not. See? Not really so much worried about the back with all the gold, but definitely the front. And that went from that really ugly gold back to this. Who would have thought it was this color? But yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I will definitely answer any questions. If you have any tips for me, as always, leave them in the comments, because you guys always know that I love constructive criticism. I love to learn. Yeah, that's about it. All right, you guys, have a great day. Bye.